Hello. Uh, we have a really special live today, Facebook Live, and thank you for tuning in. Tuning in for our two superstars. These two ladies have just been extraordinarily generous with their time, with their wisdom, with their attitude, and how they've encouraged people to get the most out of BionicGym. And they've extraordinarily good and interesting kind of background stories. I'll let Tressa here and Denise, and that's Denise there. She has a little dog behind her at some stage. It may make an appearance, Biscuit. And I'm going to hand it over to these incredible ladies who are have essentially taken our community, made it their community, and done an extraordinary job in facilitating and helping people. And we're just incredibly lucky and fortunate that these two wonderful people could join us in this way. So over to you, Tressa and Denise.
You want to start, Denise? You're the
I'll take it away.
Original Bionic Jane.
Hello to all the Bionic Janes who are probably tuning in too. But I've been the moderator for the BionicGym female community since about a year after I started using the BionicGym. I think I kind of came on the scene years ago when it was still being developed and it hadn't been released yet. And I have a scanner behind me, which is my whole body scanner. And when people first started using the BionicGym, there were a lot of naysayers on the Facebook page, and they were all very critical and suspicious and saying that's impossible. People can't lose fat and maintain muscle. And so I was beta testing the scanner behind me, and I said, hey, I'm actually tracking what's happening to me with the BionicGym using my scanner. So I posted a scan. And it was kind of the moment when everybody had to just shut up and face the reality of, wow, this might be a thing. So I had been very out of shape. I'm a full-time firefighter in a metropolitan city. I had been injured, 2 shoulder injuries, a number of surgeries on my shoulders, then a knee injury. And it got to the point where I was really kind of just even the rehab was feeling like I was never quite coming all the way back. And so I'd kind of gotten to a detrained place where I was about 35 pounds heavier and just moving slower. Stairs were, my knee was super painful. Everything I was doing, I'm pretty tough. And inside, I was having a dialogue that was like, and outside, I was just carrying the axe or helping the patient down the stairs or, doing my job. And it's a lot of weight. I carry about 60 pounds of equipment when I'm on a call. So all that just made me think, I'm getting closer and closer to the end of my career. And at the time, I was 47 years old. And so I'm 58 right now. And I was thinking, okay, I went to a slower firehouse. It's like, eventually I'm going to fade out and just become, forced into retirement, whether I could afford it or not. And ultimately, when I saw Louis' Kickstarter, it wasn't a Kickstarter, it was the other one. But anyway, when I saw that, I was like, if this thing works, this could change my life. And all I needed was some fitness. And so I started emailing with Louis, and I bought an incredible number of devices because I thought everybody in my family should have one. And I eventually browbeat Louis into letting me be a beta tester. And I started using the BionicGym, and within 3 months, so I started using it in December. And in 3 months, I went from being 35 pounds overweight to wearing a mother of the groom dress and attending my son's wedding. And it was definitely a peak moment in my life. And while I was going through these changes, just having less weight on my joints made all the difference in the world. And I got less and less pain. one of the things I kind of describe about what the BionicGym did for my knee is that it, because of the pulsing, it moves a lot of fluid through the joint. And so it upped my muscle a little bit. It got the fluid moving through the joint. I take some collagen and chondroitin supplements, and that all kind of added up to my joint just generally not being as painful. So that just opened up the future for me. Like, there's nothing that can kick me out of my job now. And most recently, I've been promoted. So the financial gains I've made, because I'm still on the job and because nothing's really slowing me down, it's tremendous. So I can say that I'm winning at my job. I'm winning at life. I'm winning on the inside, where I feel like I'm fit. I'm able to do activities. I started playing pickleball most recently. It's, like something I never would have thought that I would have been able to do ever again. So that's kind of my intro. I run the women's Facebook group. And, the female community has really elevated me. And Tressa is, I'm going to give her a brief intro now. She's one of those people who came on the scene maybe when I was like, yeah, I'm going to take a break from BionicGym for a while, because I use it cyclically. So I might use it a lot for a while and then take a break from it and do something else and then come back to it, because boredom makes me want to change the things that I'm doing. But when she came on the scene, she really, she had a lot of fresh questions. She was kind of bumping my posts in the right way, things that I had posted, videos. She had a lot of really good questions and kind of elevated me and really elevated the whole BionicGym female community. And I know she's doing the same in the BionicGym community, the general group. So Tressa has an incredible story as well, and I'm just going to hand it right on over to you.
Hi guys. So I'm Tressa. My story, I am currently 48 and a half years old. I have had 2 pregnancies, left me with a lot of excess weight. My oldest is almost 13 though. So it was about 10 when I discovered BionicGym, and it was still in a prototype, but I knew if it worked as well as it said, it was going to also change my life. And it superseded my expectations 100-fold. I had no idea that I was going to not just drop the weight, but get my life back, and I absolutely have. And it's been phenomenal for me. So I received mine around March of 2020. I had the intention. I own a retail store, of just using it passively, working on my NEAT, which is something probably Denise and I will talk about later. And it's just kind of low key, right? Just wear it for duration and offset the intensity with length. And that's what I was going to do. I was going to wear it all day long at work, pause it when customers came in, and see how this worked for me. And that is a fantastic plan, and it works fantastically for a lot of people. It's very successful. For me, my box arrived literally like the week that the world shut down. Just coincidence, but I was forced out of the business. I had to close, had kids at home doing homeschool, and it really opened up my free time during the day to use BionicGym differently. And that's when I really started paying attention to the stuff that Denise had put out for us. How do I use this? How do I up my cardio and stuff? And just took all that information and ran with it, and was pleasantly surprised at so many extra benefits in addition to the weight loss that I do have. I have better monthly cycles. I have better mood. I have better sleep. Something she talked about with the lymphatic system. I have no more cellulite. My legs look fantastic. I wear short skirts whenever I can. Love to show them off. Pelvic floor. That's a huge one for me. After having 2 pregnancies, somebody in the room could sneeze and I was going to leak, like I didn't even need to be me. And then one day my husband was like, you know, you're not leaking when you sneeze anymore. And I was like, you're right, I'm not. And I know that was all about BionicGym, completely strengthened my pelvic floor muscles. So honestly, even in maintenance mode for weight, the no cellulite and the pelvic floor improvements will keep me as a BionicGym user, I think, for the rest of my life. The so-called side effects. My fitness is improved. If I need to run, I don't choose to, but if I need to, I can without being winded. And it's just, you know, opened up for me some opportunities with my family that I was choosing to not participate in before. I'm seeing you guys from New Hampshire in the United States. It's a chilly start today, but we literally live a 5-minute drive from a ski resort. And so my kids were skiing and I wasn't. I would drop them off. I'd sit on the deck and keep busy in the cold and wait for them to be done. So I changed that last year. After my weight loss and stuff, I got inspired to take private lessons, and for the first time in my life at 47 years old, learned to ski. You know, that wasn't on my radar before. I wasn't comfortable doing that at the weight that I was prior. So, you know, new dog, old dogs, new tricks. Something else too that I'm enjoying that I wasn't before. We have a place at the lake, and you know, the kids go out tubing and stuff a lot. And I go out and enjoy that with them and just fly around the lake. And that's stuff that I wasn't doing before. So as a family, you know, we get to do some more things and enjoy each other more than we were prior, where I was kind of sitting some of that stuff out. So for me, that's part of just getting my life back. So I love it.
I know in the female community, we have heard so many stories about people's successes, and there's always some naysayers that say, "Oh, this is you know, just go exercise. You know, you don't have to sit there and just be fat. You know." And the idea is, you know, we all have a threshold that we have to kind of overcome to be able to exercise. And some of the women in the group have different disease processes, and some of them cannot exercise. They may be wheelchair bound on a bad day and hardly able to walk on a good day. And those people get some metabolic activity. And metabolic activity gets you a better blood pressure, it gets you a better heart rate. It, you know, it gets you some of that weight control. And so, you know, Tressa and I are two pretty great examples of people who have achieved a better level of fitness overall, so that now we can undertake all of life's activities, whatever we want to do. But some people don't have it as good as we do, as far as, or have more challenges than we do. And even those people have some incredible stories. I would also point to people with depression. You know, there's such a long list of things that kind of cripple us in ways, and make that threshold so high that the idea of getting over it feels impossible. And so sometimes just having the BionicGym to can you add a little bit to that for me, Tressa? I'm sorry. I know my internet looked like it paused there for.
Yeah, it did. No, yeah, you know, absolutely. So I know we're seeing, yeah, folks with multiple sclerosis, folks with fibromyalgia, just you know, lymph node issues, folks that have dealt with cancer. I mean, there's a lot of folks in there that are getting health and healing and stuff in different forms. I know a lot of us are here for the fitness gains. A lot of us are here for the weight loss. But the untapped potential that BionicGym has for the population at whole is phenomenal.
Yeah. So the question just popped up. Can we talk about our weight loss and how we keep the weight off? And I think in general, if I was going to kind of take both Tressa and I and stick us in one group, I would say we had experienced a great deal. Like I lost about 30 pounds. And Tressa, how much did you lose?
You know, I brought my Vindor, so this is my 40-pound bag of dog food. And I'm holding it right now, and I can't fathom that I was carrying this around.
40 pounds, yeah.
And just holding that right now, and if I've said it before, written, but if you told me to make that into a backpack, and I mean you do that with your fire equipment, but
yeah.
If you told me to put this dog food on as a backpack and just walk up and down the stairs, go about your day, and you've got to wear this stupid bag of dog food, I would be like, you're insane. I can't do that. It's fatiguing. It's tiring. I am going to die. I can do it for like 5 minutes. That's it. But I was doing it every single day for a freaking decade after my pregnancy. And so I look at that now, and it's like such my aha moment, dragging that in off the porch. And I was just like, that is me, what I was before I started this journey. So I'm never going back. Never going back. So,
and then generally we're two pretty fit people. So keeping it off is really like we're fit and we're mobile. And so when if you're a pain-free person after you get the weight off, then, you know, I'm playing pickleball now. I'm able to work. You know, maybe at work, if I went to a fire, there was a time when you're at a fire and you're doing overhaul at a fire, I might have an axe and I might swing that axe like 25 times. And then there's a guy standing next to me and I'd hand it to him and he'd swing it as many times as he could. Maybe he swings it 50 times. And then he hands it back to me and I do my 25 again and I hand it back to him. So the idea is now, you know, once I got the weight off, maybe I'm swinging it 40 times, you know, and he swings it 50 times and then I swing it 40 times. So the idea is generally once you get the weight off and you get your fitness level kind of up, it's much easier to keep the weight off because your non-exercise activity just goes up in general. When you have less pain, you're on your feet more. When I'm in a lot of pain, I'm sitting more. When I'm in a lot of pain and people say, hey, let's go play pickleball. I'm like, nah, not today. You know, my knees are killing me. I only exercised really in relation to work because I couldn't risk an injury or risk overusing my knees on a day off because I was in agony and I couldn't miss work. What was I going to do? Retire and lose my income? That wasn't an option for me. So I was always kind of saving myself. But staying fit after you're pretty fit, you can use your regular life. So I wear the BionicGym around the house when I'm doing housework. So vacuuming, blowing leaves, raking leaves. Take the dog for a walk is a great example for Tressa. So really just do your own thing. How do you keep it off? I mean, there are things we do and we don't often talk about the other things we do. I eat generally healthy. Thanksgiving rolls around, I probably will eat more this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, than I normally do. But I put on the BionicGym and I'll do glucose gobblers on Friday, you know. I'll kind of try to, you know, I try in my regular life to have my treat days. And when I say the word treat, I use it very loosely. When I have a day when I eat extra or in a family setting or a holiday kind of meal, that's one day. I try not to string those days together. Otherwise, I have to do a lot of exercise to overwhelm that. And the idea is I don't put on the BionicGym just so I can eat 800 calories more a day. I put on the BionicGym so that I can be metabolically healthy and keep my fitness level up. But watching, and it doesn't matter who you talk to, exercise alone is not the answer. Diet alone is not the answer. Diet and exercise together, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep. There are so many elements to being healthy and generally more fit that we don't often, give credit to. But you have to think of all of those things. You can't just, run yourself ragged and expect to recover and be more fit. You can tear yourself down. You can injure yourself further. I know we have more questions, Tressa. So
Yeah,
how,
I'm just
how,
looking.
how easy is this to use? I read where new users are not sure if it is attached correctly. Do I have to deal with gels if I use this? Tressa, you want to field that?
You know what? It's super easy. You're talking about 2 wraps, one on the left, one on the right, and gel pads are meat of the muscle. So, you're going to watch the initial setup videos and they're going to tell you midline leg. It's a great place to start. But that's for some people, depending if you've got thin legs or thicker legs, is not going to be the answer. So midline leg may bring your gel pads too far into your inner thigh if you've got smaller legs, and that's going to be painful. You don't want them there. What you're looking to do is find your quads and your hamstrings, and then the other 2 pads just sort of fall into place because you just don't have a lot of other room to put them. But pad placement for everybody is trial and error. You peel them off, you restick them, and you keep finding a place that is going to work for you, that's going to be a comfort level for you, and that's going to help get your heart rate going. So pad placement is key to the success of what kind of workout you're going to have. Absolutely. So midline is not always the answer for everybody, but it's a great place to start. So a lot of the women in particular, we end up moving them off midline to the outer thigh and really grab those quads and just kind of get dialed in. Again, it's just playing with placement, but couldn't be easier. and I know it's a lot of struggle for people to get started. I swear to you, I am wrapped up in 35 seconds. That's all it takes once you get the hang of it. So gel is a nice thing towards the end of a life of a pad. It does come with a gel coating, and depending on how you care for your wraps and your pads, you may throw a little bit of gel on them to bump them along a little bit before you have to replace them, or if the edges start to deteriorate, and that's fine. A TENS gel is there for that reason. It helps with the conductivity, can help with the sensation and take some of the stinging away. I myself, if I'm there, use an ultrasound gel. It's a lot cheaper. You get way more bang for the buck. I got it off Amazon. And it's also water soluble. So I found it wasn't as sticky as adding a TENS gel, which I tried. And then I was like, I'm attached to the toilet seat. So I stopped using it and went to ultrasound because for me, it was just easier cleanup. So I prefer that. But it definitely can enhance your workout and limp those pads along a little bit longer than instead of having to, replace them at a cost. So
just in addition to that, my pads last a very long time. I can last 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
I live alone. I have a closet that I kind of dedicated the shelf to my pads, and I have a spray bottle of water. So before I put them on, I just give them a light spray of water. When you put the pads on and take them off, you can leave some of the pad behind on your skin if they're not well hydrated. So I tend to spray them with a little bit of water. I might spray my legs with a little bit of water too, not to the point where they just slip around, but just so they stay hydrated, because then when I take them off, they're a little more forgiving and they don't pull as hard on my skin, and they don't leave as much gummy material behind, or the bionic gummy bear.
Boogers, yeah.
Like boogers, as we refer to them lovingly.
Yeah, I do a lot of glucose gobbler. You know, that's one that if you're sitting with it, in my experience, it's not one that's going to get your heart rate going and be a cardio workout, but that's not what it's intended to do. So I see a lot of people question that. It's there to eat your sugar, and it does an absolutely phenomenal job eating your sugar. So that's one I'm going to throw on at night if I'm in the recliner, just sort of chilling out. It
And it
kind of
doesn't have to be
eats
that.
up my dinner. and it got a different kind of pulsing than the other workouts too. So that's also one that I'm going to use if I'm running it at work, just sort of low key. But I can also tell you, you can absolutely get a killer cardio workout from glucose gobblers if you're a little bit warmed up and if you're moving with it. So I will often do a warm up of something else. And as Denise does too, I am using it at home, doing all the stuff. I'm doing the laundry, I'm doing the dishes, I'm cleaning this, I'm vacuuming that, I'm gardening, I'm raking, I'm doing the pool. I'm walking the dogs. I'm doing all of my stuff, all my stupid Sunday, Saturday routine chores, the mundane. I'm doing it with BionicGym. And glucose gobbler, if I'm warmed up, I will hit 170, 180 for a heart rate while I'm performing other chores with it on. So it absolutely is a fantastic cardio, but you may have to work to get it there.
Tressa, would you just tell us when you're sitting in a recliner, what number are you running glucose gobblers at?
Probably like at 40.
Okay. And then when you're wearing it around the house and you're doing chores, about where are you wearing it at?
I'm probably about the same, honestly, because I'm not looking to fatigue myself while I'm wearing it all day. I actually, when I saw how phenomenal this product was and I was losing the weight, I stepped up and bought a second one. And that was, for me, a no-brainer financially because I don't do the gym. This was the expense of a gym membership, and I just bought another year's worth by getting a second one. But that allowed me to get a second controller. And that was when I was going into my first winter with it. Like I said, I wasn't skiing at that point. Winter is long here. I was indoors. It was COVID time. Nobody was going anywhere. And I said, I don't want the downtime after I've kind of built up my heart rate of, 4 or 5 hours of use to shut it off and recharge that battery and lose the momentum I've built. So I bought a second one just to have a second battery at the ready, and I just swapped them out, and it's easy peasy. So to be honest, a weekend for me that I'm home, we're not going anywhere, I don't need to see anybody, I can smell as bad as I want to. A 12-hour day with like 3 swaps of a battery is not unheard of for me. But it just means putting it on in the morning and running it until night. But it's at a level that is not going to fatigue me. It is at a level that is going to enhance what I'm already doing. So if my heart rate was going to be at 80, just kind of moseying around the house doing those chores, but I can bring it to 120 with really no extra effort on my part, and it's not tiring on my part, that's where the magic is for me. And that's where my success came from.
So just to tie it back to the question that was asked, when Tressa talks about being at just like level 40, she's laying in a recliner at level 40. It's nighttime, she's watching TV. It's a time when she's just getting some exercise advantage when normally she wouldn't be getting any exercise advantage. She's in the end of her day, chilling out watching TV. The other time is she's wearing it at 40, but she's walking around the house and doing chores. And so she's getting a boost in her heart rate. I think a lot of people, when you start, and this goes back to the question that was just asked, is a lot of times you put it on until it hurts, You don't have to turn it up that high. Be comfortable. You shouldn't be torturing yourself or suffering with the device on. If you want to try turning it up after you've warmed up for an hour. After you're really warmed up and you've been moving around a lot, then try turning it up and getting a little more advantage out of it if what you really want to do is push yourself. but it's hard to get a heart rate response when you're first starting. So don't think turning it up is the way to get a heart rate response. A heart rate response can be gained just by getting up and walking around, folding clothes, emptying the dishwasher, wiping the countertops, that kind of stuff is how you get your heart rate up while you're wearing it. If you want to have it on a lower, more tolerable setting, okay, or level. Difference between HIIT and standard. HIIT there's specifically a high intensity interval training program in it. But also in the HIIT section of the programs, there are others like Fire It Up and Feel the Heat. Right? So those programs are higher intensity programs. They're more advanced programs. They're hard to tolerate if you try to do them over level 50. So they are more advanced programs. The standard ones, there's a whole introduction. The introductory programs are all very, very mild and very doable, right up to, like, I would say about level 70. But after that point, once you get up to the point where you're owning all those programs, you might find that you want something more challenging, and these other programs are a little more are a little tougher to tolerate.
I would say a lot.
A lot tougher to tolerate. But I'm just going to open up the program, and I'm not sure that you're even going to really be able to see it. There we are. So when I look at these, there's a BionicGym start here, and it's got start here, and then there's less cardio, more discrete, a little faster again, and then a little faster. So then you go to the pro, and everybody gets the pro program. So once you finish the beginning programs, then you move up to the pro programs. And that's basically like, look, you've done about 2 weeks of acclimation. And we talk a lot about acclimation. It's probably worth talking here about in a second. But then we go through those pros programs, and there are all the beginner programs on a more intense level. And then there's the pro zones, and those are the non-beginner programs that require some advancement to get to. And then finally, there are the 2-hour pro programs. So there's specifically programs that run 2 hours so that you don't have to restart it. And it kind of gets irritating if you're running a 1-hour program and you're like, I want to do it 2 hours instead of having to restart it. The pro intense are their own programs, and those are Feel the Heat and Fire It Up, and you can only get those with the pro HIIT version. And then of course there's Glucose Gobblers, which is still in its beta, but it's a magnificent program for just burning sugar. And it's Louis' kind of nod for diet. His original motivator was diabetics, and I know it's a personal kind of vendetta he has against diabetes. So he wanted the Glucose Gobbler program because he wanted a program that was preferentially going to target not fat but sugar. So it's intended to clear circulating sugar out of your system. So acclimation, I kind of said the word, and I'm just going to hand it over to Tressa, because Tressa, I know, can give a great chat about acclimation. Tell us what you know about it.
So I will tell you my personal experience. For me, it was just I've never used a TENS machine before. The sensation of the pulsing, I think for me was like, I wasn't all in. I wasn't a convert from the get-go. I definitely needed some help with Denise's assistance on getting my pads placed right. I hated this thing probably the first 3-4 times I used it, but I wasn't set up properly. I got dialed in, but it was still like, this feels weird to me. And I wasn't ready to just jump off the end of the dock here and be all in. I knew I needed, even though it was early on, I knew I needed to get my body to adjust to it. And I used it at night, just like I just said, in the recliner. And I did it for like 3 hours after the kids went to bed, not using a heart rate monitor, no expectations of getting my heart rate up, no expectations of having any body changes, no expectations of having physical response. I don't even count those times as my start period, but I needed that for my body to get used to it, get desensitized to it, and start to get my brain engaged with what this pulsing was. About 3 weeks into that, of just really low key, passively using it, I felt like, and I worked my way through the beginner. I maxed those out. I worked in I started to max those out. And about 3 weeks in, I was just like, you know what? I'm feeling confident here. I'm feeling all in. I threw on a heart rate monitor, and I realized, just sitting in the recliner, I was probably only around 80. And I was like, I need to get moving. And so I did. And I felt like I was ready to do one of those Pro Intense that Denise was just talking about. I did have the upgrade version, which is just software, by the way. You can add that on at any time from the app or the website. You don't need to buy it from the get-go. It's the same hardware. It's just a software difference. And I threw on one of the 2 Pro Intense, Feel the Heat or Fire It Up. And I grabbed my vacuum cleaner, and my heart rate just went like into probably the 140s, the 150s. That was my first real session with it, actively, getting up there. And I just never looked back. So it was just crazy. But the laying the foundation, however you do it, is instrumental in your success. So it may feel easy. It may feel stupid that you're not getting a real workout. If you want that, go hop on the treadmill, go hop on the elliptical, do something else. But the laying a foundation to get your body, your brain, your central nervous system in tune, that this pulsing is in fact exercise. And then in time, you will get a body response from that through things like heart rate, through things like sweating, through things like a runner's high, breathlessness, physical fatigue, like you've done a run. It all comes in time, but if you really have to build up to it. And it's definitely, I've seen people who are just like, it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening. It's like, go back to the beginning, start over, start here, work your way through the programs, maximize them, hit them at 100, be a master of them. And then you can move on. And I promise you, your body will reward you for that effort in the long run. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And take the time to build the foundation, because it's a home run after you hit that. But you got to do the work beforehand.
I think one of the ways I kind of talk about it sometimes is, let's say I'm not a runner. Let's say I want to be a runner. You don't just go out and run 5 miles on a track. You could try. You'd hate yourself afterwards if you were even able to accomplish it. You'd start out walking, and then after you walked for a couple weeks, you might start jogging, and jogging might, for you or me, might just look like fast walking. Getting to where you can actually run takes time. So when you're acclimating, you're kind of you put on the BionicGym, and your body's like, what is this? And you're like, it's running, right? And you're like trying to do it at level 80, and it's like, well, don't expect your body to be like super, on board or happy about this, or even understand what it is you're trying to accomplish. If you just give it some time and go through that beginning program and do the acclimation, like what Tressa was just describing, then you're going to see your body gets a chance to recognize, oh, we're just increasing our activity. And what it does is it gets healthy enough to do that. So going out and running 5 miles, if you're not a runner, is not an easy thing to accomplish. Your body wants to become fit enough to do that. And when you want to use the bionic gym at a high level or wear it for, grossly long periods of time at high levels, you want to take your acclimation up slowly and incrementally so that you can accomplish that and achieve fitness levels between the beginner and the advanced. So it's a stair, not a slide, so I want to buy it, but worried it's a scam. Well, no, it's there's always a chance you're going to get ripped off, but
so I'll tell you, both Denise and I invested in this at different time points, without knowing each other, but it was an idea. I don't even know that there was a prototype, and we both could have lost quite a bit of money because, quite frankly, the pricing isn't that different than when we invested in it. And so now that you guys have the opportunity to buy something at pretty much the same price point that we did, that is a known product. It just, for me, is a no-brainer. If you do have a gym membership, this is an easy, equivalent of that in my mind financially. Or if you were looking at buying a Peloton or something, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than that. But I bought it for the weight loss. The weight loss came. The other side effects, like I mentioned before, that I wasn't expecting, have absolutely made me a convert. I've bought one for my mother, one for my father. And I don't know if they're watching today, but my husband's aunt has one. She bought one. My sister-in-law bought one. I've got like 3 or 4 friends that saw me in some Instagram ads that reached out privately and said, "Hey, is this thing for real?" And they all have them. It's absolutely for real. I've said it and I will say it forever, that this is the best investment in myself I have ever made. Full stop. And knowing now what I know and the results that I've gotten, I would, without blinking an eye, pay 4 times as much as I paid for it, to get the same results that I've had. It is absolutely has changed my life and my family's life. And I tried, and nothing else did it. And it's not a magic pill. It's not, it's work. But at the same time, one thing we haven't touched on yet today is the no fatigue is just, I can't even put into words how beneficial that is. So for me, I use it around the house a lot. I'm already doing my stuff anyway, so I just put it on and it just levels up what I'm doing and gives me great results and great benefits. So that's a no-brainer to have it on in tandem. But the thing is, I can get up in the morning after doing a 12-hour day of this like it never happened. I could never put the same exertion level that I'm getting for fitness and stuff if I was running or doing other kinds of more traditional exercise at the same level to get the same kind of calorie burn and not feel it the next day. My body would be like, "Oh, what are you doing to me? This hurts, that hurts. I'm getting older. It hurts in the morning." And you know what? I just strap on and I do it all over again. I can do another 12-hour day. So for me, the no fatigue, just the no joint pain, the no nothing, my back doesn't hurt, my knees don't hurt, nothing hurts. It is just, it's magic. That's all I can tell you.
So it's almost magic. But it's actually, so I think both Tressa and I are going to say, no, it's absolutely not a scam. Everybody has to make their own decision about what they can afford to spend and whether it's going to be worth it. You can also, I can point out a myriad of people who have bought the BionicGym and don't use it. If you if you buy a basketball and you never go shoot hoops, it's just a basketball on a shelf. If you buy a baseball glove and a baseball, but you never play catch, you're not going to get better at throwing. So, is it a scam? A baseball might be a scam for someone because they have no idea how to throw and they live alone on an island. What can I say? But honestly, I feel like, if you've paid attention to the stories that we've told, we have not been scammed by BionicGym. We have both gotten tremendous gains, and we've captured, I personally have captured a lot of financial power and longevity in my career. There's a lot of different benefits that we've experienced from it. So if you missed the first part of it, maybe you watch that part of it, because it's definitely not a scam, and our stories speak for themselves. Is it okay to use when injured and unable to go to the gym? So anytime you have an injury or a surgery or an issue that makes you think, should I do this? I'm not sure. You should talk to your doctor about it. Now, I am a person that's pretty, I know my body very well. So I know when I can use it or can't use it. If I'm sick, I have a cold, I'm not going to use it. I want my body to be healthy when I use it. If I twisted my ankle going downstairs and I know it's not broken and I'm still walking around on it, but it's super swollen, I'll lay in my recliner and use the BionicGym, because I'm doing something, If I've blown out my knee playing football, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd take a break. I'd let your injury heal. I'd talk to my doctor. If it were me and I injured my knee, say I was at work and I wrenched my knee when I was going downstairs carrying a patient, I might take a period of time off and see a doctor. And the doctor is going to diagnose whatever's wrong with me. And when the doctor says I can return to my normal activities, I'm going to start using the BionicGym at low levels until I feel like I'm recovering from those low levels and it's not causing me more pain. So I'm going to do all those conservative things that everybody should do. Just like if you're injured and you're unable to go to the gym, you have to also be able to think about your body and how it's going to tolerate whatever it is you're doing. So if you can't walk, maybe the BionicGym isn't right for you at this moment if you're injured. Now, if you can't walk because you haven't been able to walk for the last 20 years, I'd say go for it. What have you got to lose, Just start out slow and acclimate. And if it sends you a message and you're sore, if you feel like it's, it's too much, turn it down. If you feel like you're super sore afterwards, take it slower. Don't push so hard. Don't go so high. You have to listen to your body, and you have to be able to, kind of figure out what's right for you. And obviously, if you're injured, you wouldn't take your crutches and try to do laps around the track at the local university, right? So I wouldn't recommend pushing with the BionicGym either. But I've used the BionicGym as a rehab tool. So I've gotten stem cell injections in my knees, and I mean it's been pretty amazing. So whatever you're doing and however you pair it and bring it into your life and work with it, that's up to you as a person, as an individual. If you want to go the route where you just do physical therapy and you only do what your doctor tells you to do, that's okay too. At some point, if you want to try it, then you make the call. But there's not a lot of doctors out there that even know about the BionicGym. So it's kind of hard to say, can I use the BionicGym to rehab an injury? If your doctor says it's okay to go back to your normal activities, if my doctor said to me, it's okay for you to go back to your normal activities, I would interpret that for myself and say, oh, well, then it's okay to use the BionicGym. Because the BionicGym is as simple as putting it on and folding clothes or walking downstairs or upstairs.
That's brilliant, Denise. And just to reiterate, Denise said you should listen to your body. As a doctor, we always say you should also listen to your doctor. Obviously, like BionicGym, we can exercise people without loading the joints and without moving the joints and that, which gives it tremendous possibilities. But we don't know what injury you have, so be safe. Check it out with your doctor. You can say, you know, this is what it is. And obviously, if you just stubbed your toe, it's fine if you put your feet up and not putting any effort through it. But you know, be sensible. Be sensible. I'm seeing the time is flowing by. I've really enjoyed listening to the two of you. It's been fabulous. Always an education as well, because if people don't know, Tressa and Denise are both hugely involved in our female community, our women's community. And they hear so much and they advise so much, and they see what works for people because they're chatting to people day in, day out. And it's one of the great things about it. And it's been a kind of great learning for me. Wrapping up soon, because it's I know you're very busy people as well. Are there any last nuggets of well, if there's last question, do throw it in, but if viewers, but Tressa, first of all, are there any kind of last nuggets of wisdom about how people should use it? What's the best way?
My biggest, what I think is a life changer for anybody with a larger thigh, is the leg swap. So it's not in any of the BionicGym original videos that I hope people are actually watching before they jump into it. But it's something that we talk about in the women's community a lot. I talk about it in the regular group too. And I did a little video just demonstrating that to have a visual a couple of weeks ago. You can just search, you know, leg swap in either group and that will come up. But it's, again, going back to that talk of getting those gel pads on the meat of your muscle. And for everybody, that's not going to be the standard setup with left wrap on left leg and right wrap on right leg. So there is a swap that can engage those muscles better if you put left wrap on right leg, right wrap on left leg, but you leave them on the way that you would. So your Velcro is now on your inside thigh rather than your outside thigh. It moves your controller from your right inside to your left outside. And some people prefer that too for walking, you know, having your legs rubbed together and disconnecting potentially. And camouflages that if you're wearing pants and stuff and you're out and about, rather than having this light in your thigh. But it has been a game changer for a lot of people as far as comfort and really just getting those quads and hamstrings engaged properly, because the gel pads are sitting where they need to sit. It also allows you to use the extenders on the inside of your thigh rather than on the outside where it's designed. I think a lot of women in particular need, we have that little thigh pocket of fat. We need to bridge that with the extenders. And it just makes for a much more comfortable, better setup. You probably do need a longer cable because now you're going from outer thigh to outer thigh. And especially if you're sitting, you know, so there are 2 and 3 foot cables out there. We've got all that stuff linked, no affiliation to any links or anything. We just try to put it out there to help people to find the right product to get them set up. But that's been a game changer for a ton of users. And they've come back to say, hey, now I didn't realize that's what I was supposed to feel like. and then they made the swap and off to the races. So that would be my biggest takeaway. Consider trying it. And if you like it better, make the swap.
you can see my beautiful invention, which I did everything has been hacked. So, but I live and learn. So if you are trying anything like that out, I would recommend that you watch some of the videos as well, because if you put it on incorrectly, it can be uncomfortable. So you just have to make sure that somebody who's been through it before and has made the mistakes is guiding you. And certainly, I think Denise and Tressa have guided many people through this process. There's a quick question here. Maybe I should take. It's about sugar. How does that help you clear out, lower your sugar level? Well, exercise is a good way to decrease your sugar. You use sugar as an energy source, and particularly high intensity exercise is really good at lowering your sugar because it uses sugar directly. Whereas kind of the brain normally uses sugar, but normally the rest of your body primarily uses kind of fat. And so if you really want to bring down and control your blood sugar, you need to do intense exercise or a lot of low-level exercise. BionicGym has some of the physiology of the intense exercise, so even at lower levels. So using, let's say, intensity 30, you might be burning sugar, whereas if you're just going for a walk, you may not be burning so much sugar, and so may not have such a direct effect on your blood sugar levels. The other thing is where we target slightly different types of muscle fibers. So, and often these muscle fibers aren't trained that much in your everyday life unless you're actually taking part in intense exercise. So we just train these muscles up so that they can become soaks and sinks for your sugar as well. If I was just eating some jellies there during the session, and I'll sink those easily because my muscles are kind of trained to absorb that type of sugar surges that kind of go through my system. And that's some of the beauties of it. But I see we've got a dog called Biscuit back here again. I'm gonna, any last piece of advice, Denise?
Yes. I would say if you're a person who has bought the BionicGym and you haven't been using it every day and you feel like you missed an opportunity and now you're already too far past it, it's never too late to get started. We've all bought fitness devices that sit and gather dust. So the next time you put on the BionicGym is the next time you have an opportunity to start getting good at it. I cycle through my use. I don't use it every day without fail. It's not medicine that I have to take on a schedule. Use it as often as you can. But if you take a break, just come back and start using it again. It doesn't matter if you step away for a minute. You can always come right back and you're going to get those same benefits again. So, and we're always there for you. If you're a female watching this and you want to join the BionicGym female community, jump on board. We're going to try to get some more videos together that are for everyone, and we'll see if we can't share those to the main BionicGym community. But thank you, Louis, and thanks for your invention. I mean, I really have to say, you know, the person who asked about whether it was a scam or not, Louis, you are a from the heart guy. You're a genius in the creation. It absolutely meets the need. So we're all very grateful for you, and absolutely not a scam, and really a lot of gratitude. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And thank you. We are so fortunate to have the pair of you. And people, well, I'd say people, ladies, go to the women's group. You'll find BionicGym female community. Controversial whether it should be called female community or women's community or some other thing, but whatever, put it in there, find it. It's certainly on Facebook, and it's a wonderful atmosphere there as well. One of the things which they've engendered essentially is it's a positive space. It's a space where you know, a lot of people feel vulnerable about their weight, about their looks, perhaps their fitness level, but it's a very welcoming space. And that's one thing I'm grateful for as well.
I would also acknowledge that it's a private group. So if you weren't comfortable putting yourself out there in the public communities, I get that. I stayed out of the public group for a long time too. I didn't need myself or my journey being broadcast on other people's friends and families' news feeds potentially. So I really stayed out of it. And then I saw that there was a need with a lot of questions I could answer, so I hopped in. But the private group for females is this very safe space to share photos. You know, are my pads positioned properly? And that's why some of the user-made videos that Denise was talking about would need to be remade, because, you know, there's some crotch shots and some things that nobody wants out there. And we just need to kind of remake them for broader appeal. So yeah, you can post photos, you can post befores, afters, are my pads on properly? All those kinds of things with no worries, and they're not going to be reshared. Nobody's going to be judging. We are a really nice group of folks that are there to encourage and uplift and try to make everybody's life a little bit better. So just, you don't have to worry about your father-in-law or your boss or anybody, you know, seeing, you know, your abdomen if you choose to show it. So just it's a safe space.
Cool. Then without further ado, I'll thank you once more and say goodbye to everybody. So we'll take just a few seconds for the video to wind down. We can talk away during this time period. Denise, you look as if you might have some last thought. No, volume's gone. And Tress as well. Any plans for the day?
I'm going to go back. I did BionicGym for about 3 hours before we started talking. I stopped so that I could talk without, and I'm here for the rest of the day. So I am going to get back on it and finish up my house chores with BionicGym and grab it. Get ready for my Thanksgiving meal too, and enjoy that this week too.
Cool. Denise, anything for the rest of the day? No, I think we've got a problem with the volume there. And Ross, all is good there in the background? That's wonderful. That's just Ross thanking everybody. So listen, goodbye everybody, and thank you so much. It's been wonderful. So enjoy your days.